This lecture is to cover the problem-solving method, Chapter 2. This lecture will explain the definition of a process. Then we're going to cover the different steps or phases of the problem-solving method. So process is everything that refers to a business and production activities of all organizations. It's the interaction of some combination of people, materials, equipment, methods, measurements, and their environment to produce an outcome. In a process, you have inputs, which are going to go through a transformation environment to produce outputs. So this is an input-output process or steps, and the outputs can be the inputs to another process. Now, usually outputs require performance measures, because that's the only way that we're making sure that we are producing good quality. And don't forget the feedback, because it's very important when it comes to improve the processes. Now, process improvements must be designed to increase customer satisfaction. It must be effective, efficient, under control, and adaptable. All processes must have an owner, the person performing the activity. Remember, a process is a transformation environment in which you're going to have inputs, and inputs could be in terms of material, information, something that is tangible, something that are intangible. It's gonna go through a transformation process which could have constraints, different things around it or surround it, and then it's going to produce an output. Now, in that closed loop, you also have to have feedback, because that's the only way to improve the process. So this is how it looks like. Inputs, material, money, information, data, goes to a transformation environment, which is people, equipment, methods, procedure, environment, material. It has certain conditions or constraints, then to produce the output that it could be in form of information, data, product, or service, and then that produce an outcome. And of course, you have to close the loop, having the feedback. That's the way to improve the process. So there are 5 basic ways to improve a process. You can reduce resources, because maybe those resources are not needed, or you can use a resource for more than one thing. You also can reduce errors, and these will prevent to do rework or scrap the final product. Also, you can meet or exceed expectations, and this is what the customer wants. You can make the process safer, so you have less inconvenience in the process, and you make the process more satisfying to the person doing it. That means meeting the internal customer needs. Now, why have a model to follow when trying to solve a problem? Why not just simply agree on the solution and do what has to be done? And remember this, if you tell people where to go but know how to get there, you will be amazed at the results. First, people are creative thinkers and will figure out a wonderful way to reach the destination of their own. But there's some people that their reasoning could be completely off target. So they may not know how to reach their goals or not agree on how to get there. So instead of having this type of situation, we can start off on the problem-solving path because it will be difficult without a model that will guide you to a desired destination. Maybe you won't be able to produce those results. So that's why we have the problem-solving method, and this is just to guide you on how to solve specific situations. So the problem-solving model can be used as a roadmap, and for you or for a team effort. And the idea is that you can follow the road so you can make less pitfalls that you might have experienced in the past. So this problem solving method has 7 steps or 7 phases. The first one is to identify the opportunity. In quality, we don't call problems problems. We call a problem, we call it an opportunity for improvement, because that's what it is. Remember, there's a better way to do something. You always have a chance to improve the way that you're doing a specific step. So problems for us are not called problems. They are called opportunity, because that's what they are. They're opportunity to make it better, their opportunity to improve that specific area. Phase number 2, analyze the current process. It is very important that you understand the process, because the only ways that you can improve to find out what's going on with that process is that you get to know it. Phase number 3, develop the optimal solution. Knowing your opportunity, knowing your processes. Now you can come up with the best solution to improve it. Phase number 4, implement changes. This is very important. Once you have the optimal solution, you have to implement it. And it might come with maybe in more than one step. Then you study the results to see if the implementation worked. You standardize the solution, just making sure that you can use it for other processes later, and you plan for the future. So the problem solving method that I'm going to go over today, it has 7 phases, 7 steps. You're going to see that the other problem solving that could have 6, it could have 5, it could have 8, but they are all going toward the same goal, which is help you or guide you in a path, or having you a roadmap, provide you with a roadmap to help you to solve problems. So phase number 1, identify the opportunity. And here is once again is when you identify the problem. But we don't call problem, we call it opportunity. Then you have to form a team and you define the scope. Okay? So problems that have greater potential for improvement and need for solution. This is what we're looking for. You also have to understand what are your goals and deadlines. You also need to understand what is the process that you're working on, and you have to define that specific problem. So how do you define this? You write a concise statement of the existing problem, then you briefly summarize where you want to be after the problem has been solved. Okay? For this, you might be using different tools, and these tools, once again, we're going to see it in this semester. Pareto analysis, proposal from key insiders, this is internal customers, data on performance, you might be able to analyze some data that has already been collected, competition, look at customer surveys, employee surveys, and do some brainstorm. Now, in this phase, it's very important that you form the team, and this team is composed by member of different backgrounds. So it is important that you have diverse background in your team members, so they can always give you some input in different areas. When you put together a team, there's some functions that are part of this formation, and this is identify, analyze, and solve. When it comes to identify, this function are related to identify problems and select the problem. When it comes to the analyze, these functions are related to the collection of data, focus on attention. This is making sure that you're observing and you are there to see what's going on, and you find the causes. And then to solve, these functions are related to develop that solution, pick the best solution, develop follow-up plan, and implement solutions. Step number 2, this is analyze the current process. Here is what you need to understand what's going on, what's the process about, how many steps, what are the different resources that you need, machine, people, everything related to your current process. A good tool to use is a flow diagram, and we're going to see this later, but this is a step-by-step and is an explanation of what the process is like. So you could develop a process flow diagram. You also can define target performance. If the idea is to produce this many with this, how many quality, will just define this target. You can also gather data, and you identify the root and the causes of the problem. Okay, for this you can use the cause and effect diagram. You can identify the root. You can use experimental design. But this phase helps confirm that a problem exists, so that you have the opportunity to fix it. Also enable the team to work with facts, and this is based on data, based on real data. Make it possible to establish measurement criteria. This is very important. Enables the team to measure the effectiveness of an implemented solution. Okay, this phase will also help you to translate complex work into an easily understood graphic description, and this is done through the process flow diagram. And establish performance, determine data needed, establish regular feedback, establish measures for quality. This is also part of this step. Okay, so the idea with this step is to identify the potential causes and determine the most likely root causes of the problem, but this is knowing your current process. Phase number 3, develop the optimal solution. It's here when you're going to establish the problem solutions and recommend the optimal solution. It's here when you have to come up with a new process or with new processes. You have to combine different processes. You have to modify the system process. So these are the 3 possible things that could happen at this phase. And you also have to do evaluation or testing, because you have to determine what possible solutions have the greatest potential for success and the advantages and disadvantages of these solutions. So the objective of this step is that you have to come up with the optimal solution. And remember, without evaluating effectiveness, make a long list of possible solutions to the problem, and then you're going to narrow down this list to a handful of potential solutions. And then you're going to evaluate the possible solution by maybe a rating each against other criteria, and then you're going to choose the best solution. Phase number 4, implement changes. Is here when you're going to prepare the implementation plan, obtain approval, implement the process improvement, and study the results. So there are different measurement tools that you can use, such as the run charts, control charts, Pareto diagrams, histograms, check sheets, and questionnaires, and these are going to be used to monitor and evaluate the process change. So remember, these different tools we're going to see it along this semester. So it's here when you're going to write a detailed plan that lists action steps, the responsible person, the start and end dates, and the estimated hours and cost. Then you're going to follow up using the action plan to ensure that the action steps are achieved. Phase number 5, study the results. In this phase is where are you going to use another set of tools that could help you to monitor and evaluate the process changes. Okay, it's here where you have to make sure, well, is what my objective has been accomplished. Is where you're going to study those specific objectives of those specific criteria that you set in the beginning. You're going to measure them and make sure that you accomplish them. Step number 6, standardize the solution. This phase will help you to specify what, who, how, where, and when of the process, and if it's a good solution, you're going to make sure that you document it so you can implement it in other processes. And the step number 7, plan for the future. It's here where the improvement process must continue. Okay, and it's here with everyone in the organization is still involved, and they're thinking in long-term efforts to develop everything that is related to the customers. So the problem solving method is just that step process that will guide you to solve situations. You have different tools that you're going to be using, because the main purpose is to make sure that you don't make those pitfalls that you have made in the past. So this problem solving model will help you to produce better solutions to problems. And with this, you can identify which of the steps will have been the most critical to arriving at that solution.